right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 12 o'clock hour of Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. As you know it here, we are broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin, serving the Fox River Valley. So excited here. Of course, here we've got a very special guest. Again, you are listening to WRMN AM 1410. Tune in. Of course, we are on youtube.com at WRMN Radio. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell. Keep up to date and in the loop with what's happening here in the Elgin area, in the Fox River Valley area, and what's happening here at WRMN. We are also streaming now live on Facebook. So if you go onto our Facebook page, that's facebook.com at WRMN 1410 Radio, you'll be able to find us on there too. If you want to give us a like and you can comment, you can also do that. We also do have the app that you can tune in through. Of course, with the touch of a button, you can listen to us from anywhere. It's easy, it's simple, and it's for free. And it's also mobile friendly as well too. It's on the App Store and also Google Play for Samsung and Android users. And then of course, you can also tune in, of course, through the classical AM 1410 dial or directly through our website. You can click a button. It says click here to listen now, and that is live here on WRMN. Check it out on our website, WRMN1410.com. We have a very special guest today. Of course, we have musical director and conductor Chad Goodman with us of the Elgin Symphony Orchestra, who is also celebrating 75 years. That is Elgin Symphony Orchestra. Very exciting. How are you doing today?
Doing so great. Just looking forward to a lot of great music for the rest of the season. As we were talking about, I feel like there is that feeling of change of season right now. It's getting warmer, sun's out more, so I just feel like my spirits are particularly lifted right now. So.
Absolutely. You get the sunshine, you get the warmer temperatures, you just kind of start to feel your body start to kind of come together with, not having to feel like you're fighting off the cold. And so that's always very nice too. I would say I'm definitely kind of like 50-degree weather, 60-degree weather type guy.
Yeah.
For me. Not super hot outside. I'm like, oh, no, not too hot, but kind of like in the spring and fall time.
I'm in the same place. Layers. I like to be able to have a jacket and it's not too hot, not too cold.
Yep. Absolutely. Totally agree. So coming up here, folks, the Elgin Symphony Orchestra, of course, excited to welcome violinist Stella Chen, who is going to be performing Beethoven's Violin Concerto. It is a really exquisite concert that is coming up here. It is both, of course, pushing the soloist and also the orchestra to express extremes, demanding them to explore the full range of human emotions as well too. And that's what you said too. So very, very cool. Tell us a little bit about this concerto and how it, of course, is a great way to come together as a community to express the emotional atmospheric piece that is Symphony No. 5.
Yes, so this program, really, we have two exquisite pieces, and this is a unique thing. We have only two pieces on our concert this weekend. We have performances Saturday and Sunday at the Hemmons Center here in downtown Elgin, and we're actually opening the first half with a symphony. Usually the symphony's saved for the end. It's on the second half. We're flipping the script, so to speak, and we're going to perform the English composer Ralph Vaughan Williams' Fifth Symphony on the first half, and then on the second half will be Beethoven's Violin Concerto. So just two pieces, but they are both incredibly majestic and bold and massive in scope and scale. We'll talk in reverse, and I'll start with the Violin Concerto by Beethoven. This is, to all of us living today in the present, and really, if we think about even the last 150 plus years, this piece has been part of the standard repertoire. I'm doing air quotes for those just listening online, but this is a piece that is just so well known, and basically every violinist who's, rising in the ranks and, training to become a professional classical musician will study the Beethoven Violin Concerto. But what's fascinating is when the piece was premiered, when Beethoven was alive, it was the year 1806, and the premiere itself was just a fiasco, just an absolute nightmare, an absolute mess. And like so much live music back in this period in music history, everything was really focused heavily on contemporary. Like people wanted to hear the latest and greatest. It wasn't always music of the past. This program that it was premiered on, however, did have a mix. It had it had a piece by Mozart. It had some pieces from the past, but the concerto was advertised. Come hear Beethoven's new violin concerto. He never finished it until 2 days before.
Oh, wow.
And so the violin soloist was a young man named Franz Clement, an Austrian violin soloist. didn't get the solo part until 2 days before. The orchestra then gets their parts. Beethoven's scribbling away, probably under-rehearsed. And this is an incredibly difficult piece, one of the most virtuosic for the solo violin. So to have 2 days, like people will spend 10 years working on it, you know, now in 2025. Think about 1806 and you have 2 days and no one's written anything like this before. Wow. So it's crazy. It's under-rehearsed. And apparently at the premiere, this young hotshot violinist decided, I need to show off even more than this. So in between movements of this, and it's a 3-movement concerto, he decided to play a little showpiece where he played the violin on one string upside down. Oh. So it was like a cabaret show. And like this was the spectacle of classical music, though, for years and years. It was all about going and being seen and just the curiosities of what's being created. But I think often the perception is like it's classical symphony, it's stuffy, it's strict, it's this. But our history has been actually the polar opposite, which is so funny. And sort of my goal as a music director in the present is to always make people feel more relaxed and welcome. We're not having crazy, you know, juggling acts in between things or anything. Right. But that was where this piece came from. And the critics just massacred this piece. And you read it and they say, oh my God, any fourth-rate composer could have written this. Like if Beethoven keeps writing like this, no one's going to care about that. No one will remember the name Beethoven. Oh, wow. And so what's hilarious is then, of course, we flash forward, and it's actually after Beethoven's death, several years later, that Joseph Joachim, who is in music history probably the most famous violin soloist ever, at age 12, prodigy, took this concerto on the road, so to speak, and brought it everywhere, and people fell in love with it. And really, since that point, since the 1840s, this is like one of the most beloved, cherished, and well-respected concertos ever written, solo piece for a solo instrument and orchestra accompaniment. So that is fascinating. It's just so wild to think about this, and you know, history always sands things out, it smooths out edges, and one story usually prevails, but with I think it's important to share this type of background because it's not all perfection. These people we put on pedestals and things like that weren't necessarily beloved and viewed as prodigies and geniuses at their time. And sometimes it takes time, and we have to have more life experience before we realize just how impressive and special certain things are. And as you were saying, this concerto really, I think something that has made it so cherished is that it has this universal quality that Beethoven's music, I'd say almost all of it has, which is, what does it mean to be a human? This concerto explores really all the different sides and ranges of emotions we have as people. There's love. There's incredibly tender and delicate and heart-wrenchingly beautiful themes that are happening. There's anger and there's frustration. There's bitterness. There's drama. There's joy. There's uncertainty. It's just what it means to be a human. We are not singular in how we feel anything. And I always like to say in pop music, a big difference for me between classical music and a lot of pop music is that pop music will take a tune and focus on one thing, one emotion, one story, one feeling. This person broke up with me, I'm ruined, and that's the entirety of it. You don't get any other feelings. Right. Classical music, composers were looking, especially in the Romantic era, which Beethoven was a pioneer of this era, was looking inward and at yourself and what it meant to be a person. And he knew he had so many feelings and he wanted to share all of them. And so that's why I find this music always so special when you go hear classical music, because it's not just one thing. It's all encompassing. And this symphony takes you on this crazy roller coaster as a listener and as a performer, of course, of all of these different emotions. And so when you're there with us on Saturday hearing Stella Chen, our incredible soloist, just if you haven't heard Stella, you should come out for her alone. She is one of the rising violin soloists on the planet. I mean, this is one of those opportunities for you to be able to say, oh, I saw her when. I really sincerely mean that. This is a very special artist, exquisite, and a piece she's held with great importance in her life. And so you're going to be in for a journey on this concerto. And it's a 40-minute concerto, which is big. Usually for these concertos, these solo works, they're anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes usually. 40 minutes. So it really, that's why we put it on the second half. It has, it's so substantial that like when it's done, you go, you can't, how do you top that? Right. It has to end with that. There's no other option. And so you're all going to be in for such a treat of just like connectivity, of feeling community, of to be all of us together in that room and go on this emotional journey with Beethoven, with Stella, with my incredible colleagues in the symphony. It's just, I think it's going to be a really memorable experience and just something that reminds everyone of how similar we are and just how beautiful our experience is of just getting to be alive.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much when it comes to integrating, having, of course, the different levels, and you can have a whole conversation on that too, of course, when it comes to different tones and levels, and even physical expression yourself too. When you play a certain piece and you start to have some of the melodies that you can even visually, it almost kind of fumes off the person, and it's like it's just spread to the audience. And so being there physically too can also help to kind of also physically see that as well, not just hear it. So
yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. So folks, check out this event. This is coming up here, Beethoven's Violin Concerto. This is coming up here. Will be on March 1st. It's Saturday at 7:30 at the Hemmons Cultural Center at 45 Symphony Way here in Elgin. They do have ticket information posted onto elginsymphony.org. Student tickets are $10. You can check out the gold ticket for $65, red for $42, and green for $20. You can also call and ask about free youth tickets for children ages 17 and under. So you can check out, of course, the program information. It's also posted on there as well, too. Folks, we are going to take a little quick time out. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN here in just a bit. So, of course, stay tuned. We'll be talking more in just a little bit.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service, better care. 800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. That's 800-785-1673.
Haven't been to the dentist in a while? Bender Dental Care in Elgin has a new patient welcome offer. Complete exam, regular cleaning, consultation, and x-rays for only $29. Okay, that bears repeating. A complete exam, regular cleaning, consultation, and x-rays for only $29. Bender Dental Care has a verified 5-star Google rating. It doesn't get any better than that. Family dentistry at its best. Bender Dental Care in Elgin.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or trade something? Maybe clean out that attic or basement, or just make a little extra cash? Then don't miss Tradio on Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. Weekdays at 12:30 p.m. Call in to let folks in the Fox River Valley know what you're looking for or what you've got to get rid of. It's easy, it's free, and it's a great way to connect with your community. Call in at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. If it's got to go, then let us know. Only on Tradio here on WRMN AM 1410.
This is the Chef of Love, Chef Jannard, TV host and restaurateur. My grandparents harvested their land to sell food and share this overflowing bounty with our community. Grandma said, for every yam we pick, we give one away. In the world they cultivated, I love preparing and eating dinner with my family on Sundays. When our resources changed, food assistance programs sustained us. They gave me fuel to start my first culinary business at 16 years old, and inspiration to donate the extra food in my community. Through my life, I've developed an appetite to work with others to ensure everyone has access to the nutritious food we need to thrive. Together, we can help end hunger. Come on, join the movement with Feeding America by volunteering, donating, and advocating. Learn more at feedingamerica.org/act now.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410, broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin, serving the Fox River Valley. Thank you again to musical director and conductor Chad Goodman of the Elgin Symphony Orchestra joining us live today.
So good to be here. I just realized we're both wearing green. I like this.
Yes,
I like
it.
this. We didn't plan this, folks.
Yours is a little bit more of an earthier tone green. Mine is slightly, I don't even know what you would say. I don't know.
It's a good green, whatever it is.
It's a good, and yours as well.
Thank you.
Very nice. I like it. Yes. Folks, again, tune in to WRMN AM 1410. We've got Chad Goodman with us here, of course, talking about the Elgin Symphony Orchestra. And next, what we want to do, we still have about 6 minutes left or so of this particular segment, is talking a little bit about the 2025-2026 season. So you want to talk with us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we just announced last week, all of our programs that we have for next season, which starts next fall. And we have some really incredible programs. Before we get into that, I do want to say something else we're very excited about. We have 2 more programs this season in April and May, and you can find all the information on them on our website on elginsymphony.org. We're ending the season with Gustav Holst's The Planets, which is as epic a thing as you're going to see live, I promise you. But then on May 17th, we have our 75th anniversary gala event. And this is going to be so special for us, celebrating the 75 years we've had an orchestra. It's going to be at the San Filippo Estate, an incredible place if you haven't been there, filled with the largest collection of mechanical instruments possibly in the world. It's stunning place to be. We're going to have full catered meal and valet parking and just time to be with all the musicians and just celebrate. So if that's something anyone's interested in, you can find out more about that on our website as well. But it's going to be such an incredible way to close out 75 years. And then, as you said, looking to year 76 for us, we have some amazing music. We're kicking things off next fall, our first program, the weekend of October 11th and 12th. With an all-American composers program. We're opening with a piece from one of the most important living composers in America right now. His name's Carlos Simon, and it's a piece called Mother Box Connection, which is the most energetic, bubbling, fiery piece, and it's like a rocket ship, and I just thought, what a great way to kick things off. It's going to lead into Howard Hanson's Second Symphony. Howard Hanson was a composer in the middle of the 20th century, American composer who really started to define the sounds that we would then later and quickly associate with Hollywood. When you think of film scores, you hear a lot of, when you listen to John Williams and you hear those great scores, I hear Howard Hanson in them, and I know he did too. And so it's a really cinematic and really engaging symphony. And then we have Gershwin's Piano Concerto in F, featuring piano soloist Orion Weiss, who is a superstar. And we just thought, what a great way to kick things off with our orchestra that we're so proud of here in this country with an all-American program. It's just going to be absolute fireworks. Awesome. So, it's just a great way to kick things off. And we have all of the information is now on the website as well. Subscriptions, we have 6 big classics concerts, these big subscription programs, incredibly diverse range of music, really, truly something for everyone. And those who do subscribe also have access to getting tickets for our annual Holiday Spectacular, which all of our concerts sold out this past year. So this is sort of the early access, as if you're open to getting to see more concerts and get a subscription, you get access to that, so you can make sure you get your holiday concert tickets as well. But it's going to be a very, very big season. We're featuring musicians from our own orchestra. We're going to have our principal horn, Greg Flint, on our second program next year as a soloist playing Mozart's Fourth Horn Concerto. We just always like to mix things up and make sure that we're featuring and putting our own talent, our principal players, up in the solo hot seat, so to speak, in addition to bringing in some of these world-class players as well, because we are world-class here. What we have in Elgin is of a spectacular level, and it's really not something to be missed. Being around live music is just such an important experience, a human experience, and a way to really connect with your community. Our symphony concerts, we see how it brings so many people from so many walks of life together who all just want this shared experience of just hearing and seeing something beautiful and special.
Absolutely. You know what? That actually kind of reminds me here a little quick. I know we only have a couple minutes. I had recently seen an article somewhere about Beethoven, and it was some statistic that people that listen to Beethoven, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had almost, it had mentioned almost something about like adding life expectancy or healing some form of disease. I'd seen something about that. I don't know.
You know, there's I don't remember this specific article off the top of my head, but there are just so many studies that directly connect people who consume classical music, whether they're playing it or whether they're just simply listening to it, the engagement and what it does to the brain has so many health benefits. And I think it's because, you know, as we've sort of discussed quite briefly today, that the experience is so human, and there's a range. It's such a stimulating thing because it's not static. It's not one thing. That when you are engrossed and you're doing what I refer to as proactive listening, when you're engaged and you go, oh, where's that melody going? Oh, I hear it in the violins. Oh, where is it now? Oh, now it's in the clarinet now. Oh, it's in the trumpet. When you listen like that and your brain is engaged in this way, and it's also something that touches us on an emotional level, you know, pulls at our heartstrings, it has impacts on how we function, how we think, how we process. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
And I expect to see more articles and studies that come out, because it's just, there aren't any studies I'm aware of that say it's bad for you, which is kind of nice, because I feel like we're always told everything's bad for you these days.
Exactly. So I think that's very fascinating reading articles like that, but of course, especially experiencing it as well too is very good. We actually have a comment here on YouTube. I think it's in referring to the previous conversation. Did the piece change after it premiered, since he was working on it up until it was released?
Oh, it's such a good question. So thank you to whoever asked that. In the case of this piece, after that premiere, which, like I said, was a fiasco, the soloist asked Beethoven to make it in a reduce the orchestra parts, so take the full orchestra parts and put it into, like, condense it into a piano part, so that he could then take it on the road with just him and a pianist, which Beethoven started working on and then shelved. And like, until Beethoven's death, which was about 20 years later, this piece wasn't getting any playtime. So no, it wasn't heavily edited. A lot of times we do see that, where the composers will go back and they'll scratch things out and they'll write a new melody. No edits as far as I'm aware, because the piece just was so unpopular. And then Beethoven passed away. So once it became rediscovered, there was no more changes to be made.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting history there too. I definitely love to research it as well, even get a little bit more into researching that too. Thank you so much for joining us today. The time flew by pretty fast. People, you can, folks out there listening in, you can find more information at elginsymphony.org. That's elginsymphony.org, celebrating 75 years and many more to come. Of course, lots of fantastic music that is composed here as well, by many local artists as well too, and composers who put so much time, energy, emotion, and their heart and soul into the wonderful music that we are so gracious to have today as well to listen to, that we have been graced by so many of the legends out there as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back with more Out to Lunch in just a bit.